Hey, Wolf with an E here. I've had the fortune to interview some famous people, but I actually think the tougher interview is when you know that person very well, and that's the case with today's interview. Nadja Halilbegovich is someone that I've known since she was in high school when I helped her translate her diary, which later became the book My Childhood Under Fire. She's now a speaker and peace activist, and I talked to her at her home in Toronto, Canada. My Childhood Under Fire, which is kind of the volume one and volume two of your diaries that was finally published in the United States and Canada, really was on the verge of being published like 3 times in a period of 10 years.
I must have, throughout that decade, experienced every emotion under the sun. I mean, I was frustrated, and I was happy, and I was eager, and I was excited. And I was 14 when I published my first book, and during the war. So part of me, I have to say, it was feeling sort of like, we're in a peaceful country, and why is this so hard to do here? We didn't have water and electricity, but we managed to publish books during the war under fire. I'm happy that it happened the way it did, and it's reaching a lot of young people, especially since it's in the diary form.
Wars have effect on everybody who survives them, but I think even more so for you because you were almost killed by a bomb.
Whenever I think of it, and it's been now many years since I was wounded, right after feeling initial kind of sadness and just so emotional about the way that it even happened, and that I just went outside for 5 minutes and that was my fate. In some ways, as an adult especially, I've learned to, put it past me and focus on the fact that I'm here and that I'm blessed and that I've gotten another chance. So I have to thus use my time for something good and positive and be grateful.
One of the things I'm sure for you was just there was so much frustration. The war continued. Things happened like the UN came in.
For me, all I, at first, I guess naively so thought was, wow, here come people that will definitely right away save us, and we're the victims. I'm a child. I remember writing a letter to President Bill Clinton and reading it on the national radio station on my show. And it was sort of a plea of a child just saying, we're all children, just like children in America, children of Bosnia want to have a free and cheerful childhood and the right to go to school. Those are basic rights. Why are we maybe just 2 minutes or 2 seconds on someone's news, and maybe not even that unless there's a big massacre?
It's not just governments that are involved, it's the people. And I know the war in Bosnia was just not covered very well in the U.S., except for the final bombing that really kind of put an end to the war. In the blog post is just the incredible story about your escape from Sarajevo, and literally that bombing happened the day that you left, less than a block away from your apartment building. What can we do today for putting an end to war as people?
Well, I find now that I, have been a speaker for over a decade, it's really amazing for me when I speak to really young people, because they open their hearts so easily to someone like me and to all the, parts of my story that are both sad and tragic, as well as some happy, joyous parts. I can see in them and in their responses as they come up to me or write to me, it's starting to do something in their mind, in their hearts. And as they grow older, I hope that they'll kind of go back maybe a little bit to my story and think about it as there's a conflict somewhere else. What I find more and more now that I've lived in North America for a pretty long time is that you don't have to be a victim of war to experience violence, to experience intolerance, to be a victim of bullying. I think Sarajevo is a perfect example that really war and such violence can happen anywhere. We were a beautiful European 20th century capital. We were Olympic host, and this happened to us, this brutal, bloody war.
Let's talk about your guitar. Eventually took on the name of your mom.
This guitar became a friend, a means of survival in a way. Art is an amazing way to transport yourself to a better place. So the guitar definitely lived through the war and then went through the tunnel, which is the underground tunnel that was the only way to leave the city. You explain that more in detail in your blog. Thanks to my mom, really followed me to America, because to me, the tunnel was such a harrowing experience that I wasn't sure that I even wanted the guitar with us. It was just, to me, all of a sudden, yet another burden. And my mom, she just insisted. She had this, maybe only mothers do. she had this clarity and this foresight that I would need this guitar, and that this guitar was far more than a piece of wood, even at a time when our lives were in danger and she was putting her life in danger for that guitar. And I'm so glad that she insisted on that. As I got more comfortable with sharing my story and with English, I incorporated the guitar as well as speaking and reading from my diary. And now it's sort of, again, a very kind of open thing that I happily share. So yes, I named the guitar Jasmine after my mom, or Jasmina, which is in Bosnian. I mean, she's deeply deserved that, the guitar to hold her name, because my mom just, even when she was away, and obviously I was a motherless child since the age of 16, it in a way was as though my mom was with me. But it came from this guitar that meant so much to me, and that my mom knew that it meant so much to me.
I think your mom is a really important part of your story, because your mom is just such a strong woman, going to work every day, even if there was no money. Sometimes, literally walking kilometers through areas with snipers. And when she got off work, she'd go to a hospital and help out as a nurse, volunteering to aid the wounded.
I'm just in awe of my mom. Actually, one time, very recently, as I was speaking in Chicago at the Holocaust Museum, one of the audience members asked me a question I've never been asked before during the Q&A. Do you think your mom is proud of you? Because you inspire a lot of people, and you speak about your mom being your hero and your inspiration. I just really think, and this was my answer to the boy as well, I have such big shoes to fill, and thank goodness that I'm a mom's daughter, because then maybe I have the genetics and I don't know, just the role model that she was for me during those 16 years. Hopefully so much of her rubbed off on me that indeed in some ways I resemble her.
Jasmina, both of them survived the war too.
Yes, I have the guitar here next to me. I must say the years have been kind to this guitar. It's like wine, good wine, it just gets better over the years. It is as though the guitar, or I don't know who did it, but we kind of mold well with one another. After all that we've been through, it's still my main instrument that I sing with.
Can you play us a song with Jasmina?
I definitely will share one of my favorite Bosnian, or really Balkan ballads. It's a centuries-old love ballad. It's called Because of You, or Zbog tebe. And just like much of Bosnian music, it's quite melancholy. I feel it's one of the most beautiful songs I know how to sing in Bosnian and on my guitar. Zbog tebe plačem I kad suza više nema. Zbog tebe majka svatove mi još ne sprema. Zbog tebe nikom ne dam da me voli, a duša boli, a duša boli. Zbog tebe nikom ne dam da me voli, a duša boli, a duša boli. Zbog tebe ljubim I kad ljubit nemam koga. Zbog tebe malo od života imam svoga.